Hello, and welcome to Always with Awareness. My name is Awa Lodmel.
And I'm Douglas Lodmel. And today I want to talk about immigration.
I know you were.
So actually, I don't really want to talk about immigration from a political or policy standpoint. That's not what we're going to do.
No.
I want to talk about being an immigrant and being an American. Because, I mean, basically, unless you're a Native American, you're an immigrant here.
That's right.
Your family came as an immigrant, either willingly or unwillingly, right? You were either brought over as a slave, you were brought over as some kind of indentured servant or a worker, or you were just immigrating because you wanted to get out of your country, which oftentimes was because your country was falling apart.
That's right.
And you just needed to get out. So we are a country of immigrants. It's been said a million times. We know that.
Yeah.
And again, this is not about policy or if it's right, should we keep, we're not talking about that.
No.
I want to talk about what it feels like because I'm an immigrant from an immigrant family.
That's right.
My great-great-grandfather came over from Norway. So I'm third generation. And you are an immigrant, first generation. You yourself came over.
That's right.
So you have a closer feeling than I do. Because I was born here, so I feel, well, I was born in Switzerland, but I was born as an American and raised here.
Yes.
And I certainly feel like an American first, not a Norwegian. I don't speak Norwegian. Never even been there.
That's right. Yeah.
But you were born in Africa, and then you spent many years in France.
That's right.
And then you came to America, and now you've spent most of your life in America.
That's right.
Yeah. So I want to know what it feels like to be an immigrant, a first-generation immigrant in America for you?
It's a good question. And it's taking me back, many years back, right? And it's true. We all, either immigrants, slave, or
Native American.
Native American.
Yeah.
You know? So, but we tend to forget it when ourselves we're not immigrant.
Right.
That's the sad part about it, right? You don't identify as an immigrant at all.
I don't. No, I
You don't.
identify
You
as
just
American.
you just say, I'm American.
Right.
Right? And it's so funny for the people who are saying, yeah, the immigrants should stay home. And they forget themselves that they were immigrants.
Or at least their family, their
Their
parents,
family.
their grandparents.
Right?
Somebody.
Right? But I can tell you one thing for somebody who freshly
Off the
got
boat.
here off the boat.
Off the plane.
You know, you don't, I can see how people migrate, which is the word immigrant. It's a migration,
Yeah.
right? It is in human beings to migrate, just like the birds.
Yeah.
There is something that calls you, either consciously or unconsciously, to migrate. We're doing it all the time by moving from a home to another home, a state to another one, but it's okay. We talk now as of that's not human to migrate.
Right. Everybody should be in their own space, country, stay where they are.
I know, but we're all migrating all the time, and we always will. Why am I saying that? It's because when you are migrating, you are not thinking yourself as an immigrant.
No.
The people that are called to migrate, God give it to us, there is a call. There is something that calls you to go. And that's what made this world today.
Yeah.
This world that we all attached to didn't start by the Americans being being planted here. No, it started in one place.
Africa, by the way.
Africa, by the way.
Africa, East Africa, all of humanity comes from there. So,
Right.
So then we started to go out.
To go out. And we have to lay those bases so that we can talk about this migration thing.
Yeah.
Because now it is seen as you have migrated because you're poor. No. Most people do not migrate because they're poor. They migrate because they want more.
Yeah.
Got nothing to do with being poor.
Yeah. It's there's lots of reasons to migrate.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, in America, because of the opportunity that America presents, because of the wealth that we represent in the world, there is an assumption that anybody coming here is coming for financial opportunity. That's it. They're coming to get what we got.
No.
Yeah.
No. And it's sad. It's now we can talk about it. In politics, everybody's now entitled to forget where they're from and to draw a line or build a wall. But let's talk about it. Most of us are immigrants. So it's either you forget you are, or when you are freshly coming from your boat, like you said, you're not even thinking about it. When I first left home, it was to go to school. I think it's something to applaud. People leaving for education. Doesn't mean they're only coming to get it. They're bringing it with them too. Let's be clear. There is only and can only be an exchange. There is no takers or givers. There is only an exchange.
Let's dive into that, because that's, I think, the key point in this. There's a presumption that an immigrant is a taker.
Yeah.
That you're coming to take something.
Yeah.
But it's not even possible.
No.
There's no such thing as a one-sided exchange. And if we're honest about what immigrants have brought,
Oh my God.
what this country is represented by, it's all immigrants.
That's right.
Literally everything we can claim as an accomplishment
Yeah.
is immigrants that did it. Every single one.
That's right.
Whether they were born here on this soil or whether they came to it. And so, I went to a U2 concert once, and Bono, he great showman, right? Bono
Yeah.
is one of the best performers ever. And at one point, he opens his leather jacket like this, and inside is stitched the American flag.
Yeah.
And he says, I love the idea of America.
That's right.
Because the idea of America is literally, let's just bring everybody together and
That's
create
right.
a new identity as an American.
That's right.
And get the best of what everybody has to offer. And I'm going to say it worked. America rocks.
Sure did.
This
It
place
sure
is,
did.
This place is amazing.
That's
We did something amazing here, and it was because of that spirit of saying, let's come together. And yeah, was it tough? Really tough.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, you wouldn't want to have been Irish 200 years ago. I mean, there's so many different levels of racism and classism that we've gone through. But today we're an amazing country because of it.
Because of it.
But we sometimes forget all that value, and it's still there.
It is still there, and I think that's the most that America has to offer, by the way. That you can bring your best and thrive. Now, I'm not saying that in the people that come, there is not some that create problems, but that is not because of where they're from. It's just maybe who they are or what happened to them that made them maybe, if there is a word, less of a good immigrant.
Yeah.
But those have always existed. Always. This is not new.
I mean, by the way, Australia was a colony of prisoners. The English just sent all their prisoners to Australia
Yeah.
it's
If you looking at it right now, what is the percentage that represent those people
Yeah.
next to the one that came and bringing so much to the table?
yeah.
And it's to those people I'm representing here because I'm one of them that came young age. I remember when I first came, I didn't go home for almost 10 years. Didn't have my papers. It's not for nothing that they call it the alien number. I mean, even to how they call
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you're an alien.
Your alien number. We are the aliens, right? It wasn't easy to be away from my family. I never felt like I was not invited or in the wrong place. I guess that's the attitude thing also. That wasn't in my attitude. I was raised by strong parents, and mostly my mom, who never seen any of her kids are as immigrants. It was just like the world is yours, the universe is yours, Allah is everywhere, God is everywhere. Wherever you go, you will see your brothers and you will meet your brothers and sisters. And whoever was old enough to be your mother, treat them as if I was in front of you. And that's how I came here. And that's, I think, most of my African brother and sisters come here because that's our culture. And I think it's a beautiful thing to bring in your suitcase coming here and to share with the people who are here. Less fear. You know, you can meet an African. When I say Africa, by the way, I know somebody once commented that Senegal doesn't represent all Africa. And I can only talk for the Senegalese because I'm from Senegal. Let's get that clear. You know, so again, you go because for me, it was just university you would do in Europe. That was just the next thing to do. We are a French colony. You go to Europe for your college. And I came to visit my brother. Loved it here. Ended up staying, asking for a student visa. Once it expired, couldn't renew it, ended up staying. And that's how I ended up being a immigrant. I mean, who didn't have her alien number.
Alien number.
Right? But we're talking about this because we want to bring awareness, because I have friends that I listen to talking. It's hard to not talk about politics, but it is right now the time where people are feeling like they can express themselves in a way that is very, what's the word for it?
Hurtful? Angry?
No. No, because I can't control people that are angry or not, but at least they look like they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, when you've never been an immigrant, when you've never been short-sighted just because you don't have a paper, and yet you have all the intention of getting a job, all the intention of going to school. You have the money, all the way to the money you can have, and yet you don't have the opportunity. Just because somebody somewhere said that if you don't have this, you cannot thrive in here. It is, unless you live it, you have all your capacity. You are young and willing. You from a great family. You have everything to thrive. You're respectful. You're not here to steal, cheat. And yet, someone wrote it down somewhere that you are less than, not welcome.
Well, this is really just bringing up the point that it for most people, they find it difficult to put themselves in another person's shoes.
That's right.
And certainly, if your experience has been very limited, you haven't traveled much, you haven't gone outside of your state even, you don't have a passport, and someone comes looking different, smelling different, eating different food, speaking a different language, and changing your environment that you're so comfortable with, it can be very disrupting to that person's mind, right? And so they definitely don't relate, but they can still, if they choose, take that other perspective and try to imagine. And that's the opportunity here, is for all of us to try to understand what it feels like to be anybody, anywhere in the world, including the people we disagree with politically. How is it that we can see their perspective?
Absolutely.
And so, yes, immigration naturally becomes a political conversation, but it's just part of a conversation that is a human conversation, which is, how do we see ourselves as one and
Yes.
not separate? And
Exactly.
so if our fundamental point of view is that we are all just different perspectives of one, which is my fundamental point of view, it's what I believe helps me to see everybody else as same as me, then I can say, wow, what an opportunity I have. And where they're at could be me.
Oh,
could be,
it is you.
It is me.
It is
It is
you.
me through them.
Exactly, because when you so short-sighted that you are looking at somebody and saying, "Oh my God, look at how they talk, how they walk, how they eat, how they smell," and you're not looking at yourself
Right.
and not thinking that they feel the same about you. Everybody is as different that you are to them, that they are to you. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So, but can we stop immigration? The answer is no.
Yeah, it's not even possible.
People will always find a way to move. It's human.
Yeah.
Now, can we make it where we give the people that are moving their dignity? Make the system a way where somebody who looks like they're not here to harm anybody, bringing even something into the table that is needed, make it easy for them to live and thrive? I say yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Should we be bringing the discussion to that? I think so. Instead of thinking that we can wall people or thinking we can stop immigration, it will never stop. They will die in the ocean on the way to wherever they're going.
Well, and we have such an opportunity to take the best of the world. Thank God anybody wants to even come here. There's countries where they're dying for any kind of immigration. They're like, please come to our country. We'll pay you to come.
That's right.
There are countries literally that don't have enough people to work, that don't have enough kids, that don't have enough infrastructure because nobody wants to be there anymore.
I know.
Thank God in America, people care to even say, I want to be there.
That's right.
And it won't necessarily always be that way. It's not a given.
Absolutely.
I know we think it's always going to be that way. It doesn't have to always be that way. There could be a time in the future where this is not a desirable place to be.
Oh, it's changing already.
Well, you've got a lot of Americans that are wanting to leave.
Exactly.
So what does that tell you?
I know.
Right? That
it's changing already.
And so yes, from a policy standpoint, which we said we weren't going to talk about, but from a policy standpoint, it just makes sense. yes, we should know absolutely everybody who comes into this country if we can, right? So
Yes.
we should have very clear, secure borders. That's just logical.
That's right.
Same with your house. If this was your
Yeah.
house,
Yeah.
you would have a secure house, right? So that's just makes sense. However,
Absolutely.
you want to make it to where it's clean and easy, and the rules are set and clear.
Exactly.
The problem we have today is that the rules are very old. They were built on a different foundation. We can't get our act together to change the rules, and instead we've turned it into this political thing, which has polarized it into this, it's got to be all or nothing, right? Which is
It's not.
silly. Right?
Yeah.
So it can't be all or nothing.
Absolutely.
So again, there's no right and wrong on the political side of this. Everybody in Washington is wrong, by the way. They've all gotten it wrong. Nobody's gotten it right.
Yeah.
But
It's time
right
to
is possible. A functional immigration policy in the United States is possible and beneficial to us. Massively beneficial.
I think so.
I know
Really.
so.
I mean, who doesn't have, and I'm sure most of you, I hope and pray that we agree that somebody working with you or living next to you or knowing somebody who knows somebody, and you see doing amazing job, loving people, need the job, need the money to raise their kids, to send them to school. I mean, it's just like, it's hard for me to talk about, because when I think about it, it wasn't a long time ago that I myself wanted to marry whoever I could marry 10 million times for them to have their papers.
Well, and there's something else. Well, I'll just speak personally.
Yeah.
What you bring from your perspective as an African woman, as a Senegalese woman, I don't see here. I can't get anywhere else. And anybody watching this podcast knows what I'm talking about if you understand who she is. This is what you want to keep out of the country? I don't think so. I think you want more of this. And believe me, there's so much more of it. There's so much more of that
Yes.
perspective and things that we have kind of lost in this country. So yes, America rocks. We are an awesome country, but we don't have it all figured out. And there are some things that we have absolutely lost. Some community,
Yes.
some tribal understanding of community that we just are missing now.
Yeah.
We have separated ourselves to the point where we don't even see ourselves as part of a community.
No.
The other thing I'll point out is that you don't have to give financial aid as a country, United States. We don't have to give financial aid to Cuba, Panama, or Mexico, or Africa, anywhere, if we have immigrants that are coming and working and sending money home, because that's what most of them do. They send money
absolutely.
home. They're building their own house at home. They're employing people at home. And what are we doing? We're not handing them money. They're working and working their ass off, doing the jobs that nobody here really wants to do, earning money, and then taking it and supporting the rest of the world. That's not a negative thing. That's an incredibly positive thing. And that is part of what having so much
Yeah.
is a gift for us to be able to do that. And it's insane for us to think that somehow they're taking from us. It's insane. Immigrants are not taking, they are creating, they are us.
Absolutely. And yes, they cannot take from you, because believe me, the jobs that they're looking for, if there were already the Americans there, then they wouldn't get the job.
There wouldn't be those jobs.
They're getting the jobs because nobody's doing the job. And that was my intake about immigration. That will be for a long time something that doesn't get me angry. It just makes me see how ignorant some people are.
Yeah.
And it will be time for them to educate themselves. You are blessed if you have all it takes to thrive, and yet you cannot. And somebody is somewhere had written a law that makes you cheat, lie about who you are so that you can thrive. Just think about it.
Yeah.
Really, think about it.
Yeah.
So that's what it is to be an immigrant, by the way,
Well, I'm glad.
most of the time.
I'm glad I found this immigrant. This
So-
immigrant found this
This
immigrant.
exactly.
Because I'm not
So-
Native American.
Not at all.
Are you Native American?
Not at all.
No. So we're all immigrants.
So anyway, that was about immigration. Again, why we're talking about this, because it's relevant. Right now, we are not part of the politics that is going on, but for sure, immigration is still a topic that is very sensitive. If I could answer it in short, all I'm doing is call you to, before you go and start sharing and texting and saying stuff about immigration, take the time to know how would you feel if you have everything it takes to thrive and you know you want more, you want better for yourself, which is just natural. And somebody said, no, you cannot, because you don't have some stupid alien number. And yet, you're doing an amazing job. For all the immigrants that are doing an amazing job, by the way, learning, teaching, not stealing, not cheating, and wanting a better life for themselves, which is totally natural, a better school, a better job, so that they can help back home. I applaud you. And I invite the ones that are thinking they're not immigrants just because for a long time they had left, their grandparents were the one, to look into themselves before they be so harsh talking on the social media about immigrants.
All right. Well, I hope it was helpful. Please feel free to comment at any direction. You're welcome. We don't mind dissent or comments back in any way, but we think this is important, the topic. So we appreciate you joining us. Remember to like, share, comment, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.